This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show with Opelika head football coach Bryan Moore. And now with Coach Moore, the voice of the Bulldogs, Van Riggs.
Welcome in, playoff edition of the Bryan Moore Show, Week 2, Round 2 action here. Coming up this week inside Bulldog Stadium, an exciting win this past Friday night at Hewitt-Trussville Stadium. Coach Adam Massey joins up with his defensive coordinator to kick it off just like last week. We'll keep it rolling, Coach, because,
great.
Same as last week. I mean, what a win on the road against Hewitt-Trussville. I know Coach Moore, the entire staff, you guys have been looking for that signature road win, and boy, you got it Friday night.
Yeah, it was a big one. We won the game in the fashion that we've won most of the games.
That's right.
This year, just kind of fighting tooth and nail and finally, getting some momentum and keeping it, there in the third and fourth quarter of that. So, absolute incredible win, by our kids and for the whole program to win a game like that in a place you never played before. They're a big time win for us, for sure.
You saw the challenge. I know the fans saw the challenge that your defense had right off the bat with the speed they had at receiver, quarterback that could throw it downfield. And then you had to prepare for really two different looks at quarterbacks because we saw the middle linebacker, Coach's son, come over and play quarterback some. That's a totally different type of offense than the other quarterback will play.
Yeah, it was a deal all week. We had prepared, and we actually had prepared for the other brother to play. But, I think he had something with his hand. There's the backup kid, so he ended up not playing, but they plugged in the, zero there that one drive.
Right.
And, the first time they go sprint pass, and we have two kids just fall right off of him. He's a thick kid that's really tough, there. So, and then 15, the starting cue, he threw the ball well, early on, and we gift wrapped some deep balls, to him that really, were the main issues for us defensively against them.
Yeah, and they got two really good running backs, too, to go along with that passing game. And I thought in the trenches, the guys up front really played great all night.
Yeah, it was a game where, early on, you just kind of felt like, and even at halftime, they just kind of kept reminding us as a staff that, ultimately we gave two big pass plays, both of them on third down. But if you take those away, obviously the rest of the yardage and everything else had been pretty good. And so, that kind of gave us some hope. And then we come out first drive of the third quarter and crushed a little bit of hope we had by giving up another deep ball, But, the awesome thing was we were looking at it and talking about it yesterday. After that deep ball, their first drive of the third quarter, they had about 11 yards, of offense after that. So, just the momentum flip. We got a bunch of, some 3 and outs, to kind of get it, 2 big turnovers. And so we really kind of got it rolling there at the middle of the third quarter and all the way through the fourth quarter.
Yeah, turnovers again, Coach. You come up with another big interception, Braden Howard. Going to be a little statue for this guy after this season. And then the big safety, too. Yeah,
that was, Braden Howard's pick. We dropped the interception a series before. Elijah Oden, made a great play and ended up dropping it. So,
there we go.
All right, with a chance to, to get a big pick there. And then Howard, he's only dropped one this year. He dropped the one against Ben Russell, but every other one that's hit his hands, that dude has brought it home. So that was a huge one. And then the safety, they run a little read play and a little indecisive, and we end up hitting him, and knocking it loose. And then, at that point in time, it looked like a T-ball game where everybody's diving on the ball and nobody can get it. So eventually Xavier goes to pick it up, and LaKedrick dives and hits him. And that's kind of the reason why the ball got kind of kicked all the way down there, and they ended up recovering it there in the end zone for a huge safety, for us. But yeah, that was, big time plays by those dudes, for us to ultimately create a lot of momentum, in the ball game.
Coming home against Baker, boy, Coach, your hands are full again this week too, right?
Hey, another quarterback that's an incredible football player. He's a big kid that, there's not a throw that this dude can't make. And
right.
So he's, really just commands our offense and doesn't like he's getting rattled. He stands there, he makes the right reads, and man, when they get ready, whether they're handing it off to 0 or 9 or flipping it out there to any of them 4 receivers they got, them dudes can go. So
when the running back nickname is Speedy, you know you're in for a treat, right?
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, he's Zero's dude, and 9 runs it well.
Yeah.
You know, and so it'll definitely be, you know, it's another challenge. Which at this point in time, you know, 7A football, second round of playoffs. You know.
It's nothing that you guys haven't seen or prepared for, you know, up to this point.
No, there's a lot. I mean, there's people that we played, you know, this year before that you could stop and say that they're very similar to, you know, skill position wise. So it's you know, man, it's another challenge. You know, it's another week that we tell our kids all the time, man. It's a great opportunity to get your name out there. Yeah. You know, and get people to talking about who you are. If you can slow down, you know, individuals that or teams that have people like that on their side. So it's going to be it'll be a challenge for sure.
Just me watching a little bit of tape I have this week on Baker, it looks like wrapping up, especially those receivers, is a key, because if they catch the ball, 2 or 3 tackles, they can break in a minute.
They are, you know, they will deep ball you.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of times their big plays are, you know, on a 6 or 7 yard completion that they take it 80, you know, or 70. So being able to tackle in space is going to be absolutely critical for us this week.
All right, Coach, good luck to you on Friday night. We'll let Coach Massey take off, and we'll bring up Coach J.D. Atkins. And, of course, don't forget, we're back to normal routine this week in lunches coming up on Thursday night, or Thursday at lunch, at noon, I should say. First Baptist Church, Opelika. So go ahead and make your plans. 316 Center, Coach Bryan Moore and Coach Massey. Coach Atkins will be there previewing the matchup against Baker Friday night inside Bulldogs Stadium. Welcome in Coach J.D. Atkins. And, Coach, congratulations on a big win. I know we're talking to Coach Massey. It wasn't pretty at times. Offensively, it really wasn't pretty at times in the first half. But, boy, the guys hung in there. It was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and then it was the big plays down the stretch from the passing attack that really came through for the Bulldogs. And congratulations. I know, talk about the way your team was able to, on that side of the football, hang in there.
Yeah, well, our recipe kind of, you know, of the late part of the season and now has been about efficiency. It's been about, you know, establishing a good physical running game, and it's been about being patient. And we know that the way we play, that people don't sustain against that. And so that if we can stay committed to it, that some of those 2 yard runs, those 3 yard runs turn into 6 and 7 yard runs later in the game. On top of that, you kind of let Witt settle into the game and give him a chance to make some play. We talked at halftime about getting Jalen involved, and felt like I didn't do a good enough job of that in the first half of really trying to force it to him. And so come out and get him a reverse early to get him going, and then some screen game touches, and then let Witt open it up a little bit. And I remember talking with you last week on the show about, you know, the opportunity in front of him to get to go play in that environment, and how he had handled it and the growth of a sophomore Q. And really proud of him, especially in the second half, but even in the first half when it wasn't pretty, of taking a lot of physical hits and getting up and playing the next play and making big plays down the stretch when he had to. And of course, obviously, of Jalen and the big night he had. But just really proud of the group, the overall program for its continued handling of adversity, and just staying the course and believing. So.
Yeah, and Andre Van's been kind of the big play receiver this year, but Jalen Washington, one of your seniors, is the guy that really stepped up and had the 2 or 3 really good catches in that second half. None bigger than the touchdown grab there in the back corner of the end zone. That was one of those highlight catches. May not see a better one in a long time at Opelika than that one.
Yeah, fantastic play. I go back to the first play of that drive. You know, we run a field boot, and they do a pretty good job of covering it. And Witt puts the ball downfield to Jay Wash, and he goes up over the top of the defender and makes the play to get that drive really rolling. And then about 5-6 plays later, obviously the touchdown catch to put us ahead. But no, he's, you know, I think back to Wetumpka in the spring game, you know, where he had a kind of a big coming out party. I know he was poised to have a big year, taking over the mantle from Jamari Miller. And it's been a story of patience this year, you know, with some of the musical chairs at quarterback, but also just, you know, some nights are one receiver's night and some nights go to another. And like you said, Andre's had a lot of big nights for us. And this night was Jalen's, and no better kid to do it and step up and do it on a night he's elected as a captain, you know, by his coaches and teammates, and really one of our best leaders throughout this season, who, you know, we talk about the theme of handling adversity, like no one has done it better than that kid. So really proud of him Friday night.
Offensive line was big too. It was a night in the trenches and a war in the trenches, and those 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Those guys were battling not only the front three or the 3 down linemen, but those 4 linebackers that are really talented too from Hewitt-Trussville.
Yeah, already a really good box from Hewitt-Trussville, but on top of that, you add in the fact that the way people play us by adding hats to the box, and really challenged our group. And one of the biggest metrics we always track is efficiency, and that's been kind of a weak spot for us all year. And so have been digging into it. And Friday night, they had their best night of the year as far as efficiency, which is, lack of negative plays and drops and penalties and things like that. So really proud of that group's growth and the job that Coach Fleming and Coach Brown and Coach Epp are doing with them. And just need to see them continuing to grow, because I honestly believe that they're just now scratching the surface of what they can be. That group we thought the whole time they can be elite, and I think they're still headed that direction. So.
Key against Baker this week, Coach. I know this is one side of the football. They're a little young, replaced a lot of guys from last year, but here we are in week 12 now of the season. So they're growing up a lot, I'm sure.
No doubt. Very fast defense, flies around. 3-4 defense. 2 defensive end, 4 techniques that are really quick off the ball upfield. We got to be right. We got to be connected in the box. We got to be right. We got to make sure we're communicating, getting hats on hats, taking good angles, getting things cut off when we need to. But again, our formula is always our formula. It really doesn't matter who we play. It's we got to be physical and dominate the line of scrimmage, establish the run game. We got to be opportunistic and hit some shots when we need to, flip our screen game out, be really good blocking on the perimeter. And then Witt has got to do a good job of managing the offense and keeping us ahead of the chains in inefficient spots, and then making sure that we are giving our chance the best chance to play good complementary football for our program.
How much easier is it for your offense to operate too in the friendly confines of Bulldog Stadium?
So
nice.
Everything gets easier here, right? Take the bias out of it, take the love out of it. This is one of the best environments in high school football, and really excited about this Friday with gates opening up early and fans being there and loud and crazy, and our kids to get a chance to play November cold weather playoff football here in Bulldog Stadium against a really good opponent. Like, there's no better feeling than there will be Friday night. It's going to be electric, and again, just excited for our kids to get to experience it.
Yeah, cold early in the week, but I think it's going to warm up Friday too, so there you go.
No doubt.
All right, we'll visit with head coach Bryan Moore. Good luck, Coach Atkins, offensive coordinator at Opelika. We'll take a timeout and come back with head coach Bryan Moore after this. Welcome back. Bryan Moore Show each week presented by Glenn Smith Chevy, GMC, and Opelika. Get ready to smile. Appreciate their sponsorship and all they do for Opelika high school football. I know they've been a big sponsor too of the lunches throughout
everything.
Yes, I know they're on everything. Jerry Potter and the crew there at Glenn Smith.
Sure.
Coach, congratulations. Like I talked to Coach Massey, we've been looking for that big road win. Yeah. Didn't look good early. Your team stuck in there. What a huge win, and just a huge testament to the kids, your coaching staff, everybody for that big win.
Yeah, it was a collective effort for sure. I mean, a lot of people had to do a lot of big things in big moments. Jay Wash and CJ and Jalen Nelson and our defense, Braden Howard, and some big sacks. Carson Riddle really played well, showed up early in that game, man. Just so many different kids. I know I'm leaving some out, but so many different kids. And also, I think, the belief in the way, the formula, the way that we thought we could win the game. We knew it couldn't be pretty. I mean, we're not as talented as them, as far as skill spots, especially. We have good players too, but they've got some Power 4 guys, that are elite, and but we had to win it ugly, and that's okay, But we made some plays when we had to, and we opened up the offense when we had to. So that was good to see. Good to see Witt really play well, especially in the second half. A lot of trust built, in that game, and good to see him, make it through the game. And we lost him with Carver, and that hurt us, as far as our game plan. So good to see us execute some things. Good to see our best players like Blake and those guys step up in big moments too, and keep us on the field. A lot of 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts, big field goals from Reese. I mean, obviously played one of his best games ever on a slick track too. The turf was very, very slick, but he dealt with it, and big win, program win. I keep getting the question about, next steps in our program. It was first the playoffs, going to the playoffs. Okay, well, we've done that back-to-back years. All right, now can we go to Birmingham and win? Now we have, right? And it's just exciting to see, and exciting to see all the work that, Cade McGee did in the offseason, and all that add up. Just a special night for us.
Well, and two, Coach, I think you look at the defensive side of the football, and a couple of guys you mentioned that made plays, Josh Davis, Carson Riddle.
Yeah.
Those are two guys that weren't in there during that 2-week losing streak
No
at
doubt.
Enterprise and at Central, and just how big some of those guys are, that you were really missing some big pieces in those games.
Well, that's true, and LaKeedrick too.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Just 3 of our top 6 box players were not in there. And I don't care who you are, that impacts you,
Yeah.
you know, and we should have found a way to play better in those games, but it's been huge. What a lift as far as rep count going down a little bit, you know, being able to use some guys in some different packages. And really now our next step defensively is to figure out how to use, you know, some guys better as well. You know, Elijah Oden, you know, getting him into some different, because he is such a multiple, you know, type versatile player, being able to use K2 a little bit and some different guys, and obviously LaKeedrick and Trey, when you have 4 linebackers and now you've got, you know, 6, 7 interior guys defensively too. So we'll have to really, you know, go and game plan those things, and they started Sunday, but it was exciting to see. I thought we controlled the line of scrimmage. There was a spurt there where they had maybe the second touchdown drive where they had some big runs there, but we settled in, spilled some things better, fit some things better, and like I said, it was just really good to see. But, you know, major things in the game, you know, we got to control those 3rd down and longs. I mean, we didn't do a very good job with that, and we got to score in the red zone. You know, we were really efficient. I heard JD say that. I thought we were by far most efficient as far as, you know, staying on schedule, not having penalties, not having obviously turnovers. The no turnover deal was huge because they had 2. You know, that was really, really big. But now we got to score. We can't kick 5 field goals. We got to get some touchdowns out of that deal. So if we're going to continue to win in November, that's going to have to happen.
All right, you got a Baker team coming in, Coach. Historically, not a lot of success in the postseason, but you know, that's history. This
Right.
is this year.
Yeah.
This Baker team's really talented. I've watched a lot of them throughout the week, and well, they got big play receivers. We talked about it with Coach Massey, their quarterback. You've seen them, I know, in the summertime in 7-on-7. They've got talent.
Oh, man, the receivers, I mean, it's just like it's rinse and repeat for our football team against these incredible receivers every week. You know, good quarterback play, big-time receivers. It's been like 8 of our 12, 11 games, whatever.
Yeah.
It's been crazy. So, yeah, I mean, they're just as good as Auburn and Central and all those guys. I mean, that's how good they are. I mean, they got skill guys that not only in the passing game, but can take it on speed sweeps and screens and kickoff returns and punt returns, and they can go score the ball. So we'll have to do a great job, of tackling. It's going to be about solo tackles. It's going to be about running to the football, playing with a relentless effort. The quarterback is as good as we've seen. His touch and accuracy, he's a massive person. So him being able to see in there, it makes a difference as well. And just throws a nice ball. I mean, just, didn't love when I turned on the film. I couldn't stand it. We got home from Birmingham, I don't know, 2 in the morning or whatever. I walked in my door and I couldn't stand it. I watched our game and then I had to flip on them and just see them, real quick. And they're really talented. Defensively, Coach Scott does a really good job. At one point, I believe he was at Viger's defense coordinator with his brother. Has just really brought that, relentless effort. They play extremely hard, 11 hats to the ball. Just really good. Back-to-back years, they replaced a lot this year on defense, but then those guys just rolled right over into playing, at a high level, winning their region. I mean, so, we could talk about history, and I believe in it. I mean, obviously, make history is kind of one of our things, and we're trying to do here. But for them, last year to beat Hewitt-Trussville at home, and then turn around this year and win another playoff game at home, it gives them a lot of, they feel good,
Right.
a lot of confidence coming into Bulldog Stadium. They won't be intimidated. We'll have to do our part, our fans, and, we've got some things that we're going to talk about to help with that. But this is a good football team coming here, and somebody that we don't know much about, really.
Yeah. I heard Indiana's coach, he had a funny quote over the weekend when the reporter asked him about playing at Penn State and said, this team's never won at Penn State. He said, well, this team's never played here.
Right, this team.
Yeah, this team,
Right.
So it's kind of like with Baker. They've never won a second-round playoff game, but this team for Baker's never played in a second-round playoff game.
And last week we're underdogs going to Hewitt-Trussville and 3-8 in first round. It just, and it's fun for people, reporters and everything to write about those things, but ultimately we control our bubble, and they do too. And we're going to put our best foot forward, be present, and try to play our best game at Bulldog Stadium this year. We've been really good at home.
Yeah.
And that's got to continue. That's always got to be our thing. That the way that our band, our fans, our cheerleaders, the atmosphere that our city and administration have given us with our lights and Jumbotron and all that, ultimately, like I always say, it's an experience for young people. We want it to be the best, and we got to hold suit, man. We got to do our part at home.
Right. All right. It's a blackout. I know this is a big thing for the team and for the fans to get involved with it. So, hey, look at there. First 1,500 fans get a free black shirt.
Yep.
And I know you want everybody to come out and get into it.
To me, it's not just about the game. I mean, the game and obviously, blacking the thing out and, being creative and all that for our players, I think that will matter, but it's about the pregame. It's got to be a pregame party, man. I mean, we're opening these gates at 5 o'clock. I want 8,000 people to be in the stadium at 5 o'clock. I mean, because it's first come, first serve. I mean, wherever you want to sit, it's fair game in the playoffs, no reserved seats. So if you get there, you want to sit dead middle, 50-yard line, row, whatever, you go ahead and do that. You be the first one in that line.
Find your season ticket seats.
Get you a shirt, go get in the middle. Yeah, find your season, spots. I mean, that to me is going to matter for our players. When we come out at 5:15 or whatever time we get out there for freestyle, we call it, where the kids kind of get out there with their music and kind of get themselves right and whatever, headspace they need to be in. I need people there. I need music. I need people in black shirts. I don't want one person wearing red or white or anything like that. I want it completely blacked out. And I just think it can be a really cool thing to create an atmosphere to help our players. And we're going to need every bit of that this week.
Need Colt Miller and the students on A game, right?
I think he pushed back his wisdom teeth surgery to be able to be at this game Friday night.
Well,
listen,
good.
My nephew pushed back his adenoid surgery. It's all in, man. We're pushing all our chips in right here for this playoff run.
All right, and don't miss a great preview Thursday. Again, we mentioned it earlier in the show, First Baptist Church Opelika, 12 o'clock noon on Thursday, a great preview. And not only you'll get to hear from Coach Moore, but Coach Massey and Coach Atkins as we preview another week in the playoffs, Coach. And hopefully we're doing another lunch next week.
No doubt. I mean, it's been a, it's funny how these things work. It's been such a adversity-filled year, for us. Just ups and downs and close games, and it's why I don't have any hair, and it just is. It's one of those deals. And but for us to be here, seasoned, and tried and I mean, we have been through it, man, and just excited for our kids. Another week for our seniors. This will be the 7th game in Bulldog Stadium.
Yeah. Not
many senior classes get to say that, and for us to be able to do that, and and hopefully play another week and continue to get better, because I do think I heard JD say it, man. The ceiling, like, we can be elite on the offensive line. Our football team can be like that. If we'll just keep getting better every week, who knows where this thing will finish. So for us, we got to play our best game against Baker. This is a really, really good opponent, and we'll have to play well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying, this is Central or Thompson, but this thing's wide open. You never know. You get there and play the games, and I know that's down the road.
Right.
But you just never know how these games will shake out.
Look, 7A. I mean, look at us in some games where we played really well, and then other games we didn't play so well.
Right.
It's all about who shows up that night. 7A is so good. I mean, it's unreal every week. You take like a Carver team, and I mean, just it's unreal what you have to play. Any of those teams, if they play well and the other one doesn't, they'll win. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And so for us, just keep putting our best foot forward and be playing our best ball in November, and let's see what happens.
And you made a lot of critical calls in that game. Boy, I know. That's one thing I told you. I said, boy, Coach, you had some decisions to make in that one, and congratulations on making good ones.
Well, they were good players. Reese Beasley made them look good, But I just felt like in the game with the field goals that we needed to get it inside a possession. Like it was 8. It felt like it loomed at 8 points all game. And I felt like it had to get to 5, and then Reese made a big one. Yeah. And then what that does, puts you in striking distance. You get that touchdown from Jay Wash, now you're up in the game, and everything changed at that point with that play. But we just kept chipping away, staying the course, and a lot of that had to do with our defense and the way they were playing, and just believing that they were going to hold them, at 21. So just really proud of the kids and proud of the players for executing those decisions.
Hopefully we're right back here next week previewing round 3 of the high school football playoffs. Hopefully we'll see everybody Friday night inside Bulldog Stadium against the Baker Hornets. And this is the Bryan Moore Show. We'll see you next week.